Greetings and welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to episode 441 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly gamer podcast for Words About Games. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander, and I'm joined this week by the Pokemon master himself. It's Daffin Moody.
Oddly-doodly-doo. We're doing this the second time, so let's get to it, people. It's video game day. Hallelujah to that.
My brain doesn't like the fact that we're doing this a second time. It's like, you've already said this stuff. Stop talking. I'm like, it's time for Indie Game of the Week. No, wait, no, it's not. What the fuck's happening? But we're also joined by the lone wolf, Vitz Patel.
Oh, what's good, everybody? How are we all doing this fine week?
Still tired.
Yeah, a whole lot of tiredness going on, but there's reason to be excited and there's reason to be fearful of the world.
I feel like
so let's focus on the positive for now, and we'll move on.
It's Groundhog Day. Help me.
Yeah, exactly. I made the mistake of watching Predator 2 this week for kind of funding review, and that movie's rough as toast.
Oh no. Why? You know, you can stop, right? Just because I know Kind of Funny review is doing its thing and like it's watching all of the films.
Because I'd like to be part of that conversation because it makes it a more engaging watch.
They have to do it. It's their job.
I get that, and I want to be part of that conversation, so I have context for what they're talking about when they're moaning about the film, and
you can choose to be happy.
I think Vitz is just a masochist.
It's only downhill from here.
I disagree with that. I think the next one is actually better than the second one.
Well, next week watching Aliens 3, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
You haven't even watched Alien 4 yet. Stop.
Exactly. I've seen it before, but yeah,
bail.
It's been a long time.
When me and Moody eventually convinced Phil to watch Alien, you know, he came with all of those proclamations. It took a while. It took a lot of work, but he eventually did it, and he came with all these proclamations. Well, I'm a completionist, which, you know, he is. He's nuts. And he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna watch everything, all the aliens and all the predators." And me and Moody both kind of went, "Yeah, okay, of course you are." He didn't make it, naturally, despite the fact that he's a completionist. And I just feel like if he didn't make it, you don't have to make it either.
That's true.
But yeah.
I'm guessing they're doing the theatrical release.
It's all theatrical cuts, yeah. They're not listening to anybody.
That's stupid. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah, but they're not listening to anybody who says, "Oh, you know, if you watch this edition, then that's got an extra 30 minutes. Is really going to complete the film."
It's not about that. It's just it's a better edited movie. That version. That's all I'm saying. It makes a lot more sense compared to a lot of things. Like some things that happen in the theater actually go, wait, what? And what happened to that? And what? This one fine tunes it and makes it better.
But it depends. Like it's an interesting thought exercise, right? It's like, which version do you review? Which version is the one that you review? Is it the one that came out in cinemas that most people have probably seen, or is it the director's cut? It's kind of the same thing with games, right? It's like, If
I do get it.
You know, like you review a game like 1 year, and then you review the game the next year, and it's like there's been updates and patches and whatnot. It's like, which one's the correct review? Very strange.
Yeah, I do understand why they're doing theatrical. I do get it. Even though I massively disagree with some of their opinions. Oh my god,
100%. It's like the most accessible, and it's that one kind of constant in terms of when people rented it back in the day, then they would have got that same cut and stuff like that. And for sure, like those special editions and director's cuts and what have you that are going to add to the fact, but they're picking the one which is going to be synonymous with most people. But speaking of things that I watched, which are all different kinds of amazing, I am now up to date with Severance, and what a show. Thanks, Ames, for your words of encouragement, for jumping on that show. And yes, I'm very late to the party, but I'm all caught up now. And
it's probably better that way.
Yeah. I won't be discussing anything because I appreciate, like, Amy is waiting for all of season 2 to come out before they jump in, and I imagine a few other people are not as up to speed as I am. So, but I will just say, if you have any inkling at all for fantastic television, then jump on this show. It is messed up. It is deeply messed up, but it also makes it a fantastic viewing.
I bet it's cancelled by the end of the year.
Ah, thank you, Moody, you mean-faced assassin of joy.
Now back to Alien. The disrespect to the Kind of Funny people. Fucking disrespecting Victoria Cartwright. The insult of her performance from them is disgusting. I hate all of them.
Did they play Lambert or?
I can't remember the name. Let me see.
Okay.
They played
Okay,
the other character. Yeah, Lambert. Yeah, they played Lambert. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
I don't know who they played, but they were wrong.
Yes.
Trying to remember names apart from the main cast, which is basically Sigourney Weaver and Ellen Ripley. I struggle with the rest sometimes. So I always have. So that's not fair. But no. She deserved that acting award she got nominated for. Don't know which one they said.
This is why I don't watch review. Like, this is why I don't watch a lot of review discussions, especially. Like, and I know, like, that's kind of hypocritical because I do review discussions on a podcast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it just like I never feel like I'm putting my best foot forward when I don't have a script out in front of me, right? Like,
Yeah.
so like I don't know, like a bunch of people like just chatting and stuff, like you know, just chatting about Alien or Severance or stuff. That's fine. But like as soon as you call it a review, I don't know, it's not something
I'd say I am just taking the piss. I am taking the piss.
At the end of the day, I'm there for the personalities, not so much the.
That's why I watch Game Showdown.
Yeah.
Am I watching Kind of Funny Game Showdown because I'm interested in the Titanic struggle between the three contestants? No, I'm not. The same fucking person wins every time. I'm interested because it's funny.
Yeah, 100%.
It makes me laugh. And we all need some laughter in these trying times.
We really do.
Yeah. That's why we laughed so much. We recorded this twice.
Yeah. Moody went out. Adora came in, sat on the chair.
It is.
We thought about rolling.
Yeah.
But then we didn't. I don't really think Adora will have too many like cognizant opinions about the state of the video game industry.
We don't know. We can't say that for sure.
Thing is, though, it might be our most viewed episode ever.
You keep saying this, and it never happens.
A curled up, cute little puppy dog.
You held up the dog to the camera and tried to guilt trip everybody to donate more money to charity, and it didn't work.
That's true. That's true.
I think the power of cute dogs is not as strong as you might believe. Or our audience is heartless. One of the two.
I think it's our audience is heartless.
How dare you?
Given, I don't know. Given the things that they find, given the things that they make us do for entertainment, I might be siding with Moody here.
Thank you.
Yeah, but they also donated an incredible amount of money. You can't do that
to make us suffer.
Yeah.
Especially me. I had to play Dino Crisis.
They didn't hear special effect. They heard make these three suffer.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they heard. You went, I'll pay for that.
I think our £100 milestone where we get Vitz to play Alien Isolation is going to be the fastest we ever hit a milestone. And is it because people are passionate about charity, or is it because people want to see Vitz hooked up to a heart rate monitor while playing a very scary game?
I mean, I'm sure it's a little column A, little column B. Who can say?
I think it's going to be a massive amount of column A.
I assume column A is the part where they hate us.
Yeah. Exactly.
This is why I gave Moody the control over the game that I play, and not Twitch chat.
Yes.
Yeah, I've picked a juicy title that you're going to hate.
They would have made you play Dino Crisis again.
They would have just made me play Dino Crisis again.
How'd you
From
know
the
we
top.
haven't done that?
No, it's Dino Crisis 3.
I'm just going to run the same
played
trailer
it.
again. Don't worry about it.
I'd be interested. Yeah. Hey, yeah.
Do you have an original Xbox?
Yeah. So there. Bam.
Sweet,
One original Xbox.
Isn't it backwards compatible on 360?
Don't know.
Am I incorrect? I would say I can't. I don't know.
I think
I could Google it, but I can't be bothered.
It is. I think Xbox 360 only got backwards compatibility like 2 years into its life cycle. But yeah, you should be able, because then I think a story came out about Jade Empire and how they got some terrible advice from Microsoft when it came to launching that, and the dev team were like, we should have waited until the 360 launch and made it a 360 launch title versus launching at the end of the Xbox cycle. So yeah, but to cut a long story short, I believe the 360 is indeed backwards compatible.
Well, I know it's not Dino Crisis 3 because you wouldn't have mentioned it if it was. So.
But what if that was the red herring to throw you off?
Nah, I don't believe it. I think Moody's got more imagination than that.
Oh, I think you give me too much credit sometimes. Moody, I give you a compliment and you just insulted yourself.
If it was Dino Crisis 3, a game that I have said before that I would be interested to see what the fuck that game was all about. I don't think I would have got the message. I have chosen the game. Mwahahahahahaha.
Now, there's every chance that Moody forgot that you said that original statement, and then concocted his own evil plan.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I think Moody is not quite as devious and evil and full of hate as Twitch chat, but I don't think it's necessarily that far away.
I mean, we don't know if Moody just laid out a bunch of titles and then Adora just picked one at random, and then that's the game you're going to play. We don't know.
Laid them out on what? Like
on the floor.
If Moody tried to carry a copy of Dino Crisis 3 into his house, or even just a picture of Dino Crisis 3 into his house, I imagine him and the picture would both burst into flames.
This is true.
Probably. I think that is true.
Oh, was that why you disappeared?
That's why Dora goes to walk outside, because that's where Dino Crisis
3 is.
On fire! No, I don't have to take Adora out, don't worry.
Dino Crisis is on fire again.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Dog started barking outside.
She stopped.
No, there's one barking outside.
Oh, is there? I can't hear it.
Must have heard about Dino Crisis 3.
There you go.
Put some respect on that name.
It's dinosaurs in space. That's two cool things at the same time.
Space and dinosaurs. How can it not work?
What do the kids love? They love space. What else do the kids love? Dinosaurs.
Exactly.
And they're just all the dollar signs. That's it.
I won't lie, Capcom probably really did. And then Microsoft came in and said, "He's the dollars."
Yeah. Or Microsoft.
Here's all the dollars.
Microsoft was just like, we can't buy a Resident Evil. What if we could What if we could like pay for you to make Dino Crisis?
And then many years later, someone at Capcom had the brilliant idea, and they went to the meeting room, and they put up their presentation in front of the whole company, and it said one word, and one word only: horny. The internet is horny. Let's make the thirstiest characters on the planet. The internet will go wild, and we'll sell millions of every single game that we make. And they haven't stopped since.
It's a better strategy than putting dinosaurs in space.
Yes, this is true.
It's a better strategy than most strategies.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Vitz, that probably was a meeting that happened at Capcom.
Yeah, and salutations.
Thank you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Merry Monsoon today if you're celebrating as well. Well, that is the title that released.
Oh yeah, shit! It's coming out tomorrow.
What's coming out?
Monster
Hunter
Hunter
Wild.
Ah.
Yeah, many of my friends have been preloading that game, and have been counting down the minutes to get into it.
Is it like the countdown on the PlayStation thing? Are they just watching it?
Yeah, you're watching the progress bar.
Time until game unlocks, because it does that.
Yeah.
You play PlayStation if you pre-ordered and preloaded a game. It does have a countdown. You can watch.
Oh yeah, but by the time the countdown gets to 0, then it decides to download the day one update.
Yeah,
before you can play it.
Here's another 50-year update.
Damn it!
Yeah. And because the servers are being rammed, it downloads really slowly.
And then when you try to play it, you can't play with your friends because everybody's trying to play with their friends.
Yeah.
Like Elden Ring, Night Rain.
Yes. We can't. You can do matchmaking. No, wait, you can't do matchmaking. This is the test for matchmaking, but you can only matchmake with one other person.
It's
and
a
then you have to
stress.
get randomly.
It was a stress test. I feel like it was like, I know everybody complained because they were treating it like a demo, but like the fact that it didn't work is good. That means that the stress test is successful. We need more
They found where
servers.
the limit is. Yeah.
Please continue to keep trying to log in.
It has been interesting seeing the internet be woeful about that game being taken away from them, quote unquote. They're just like, well, what is life now when I don't have Night Rain to play because I had so much fun?
The original game. If
Like,
you
it
start
was not
now,
the same.
if you start now, you'll be finished by the time Night Rain comes out, and there'll be no interruption of service.
No, but people are used to just zipping across that map, pinging left and right, taking down bosses in trios. They don't want.
I watched a little bit of a streamer playing it, like a speedrunner streamer that, and like, no, I said no. It's not parasocial relationship. I know of, and I was just like, man, like, I love Elden Ring. It's my favorite game. And Night Rain just does not look like it's for me at all. Like the running around, the pinging, the battle royale thing. That I'm just like, no.
But Amy, the kids love Fortnite.
I don't.
This is Elden Ring Fortnite.
Played Fortnite for 40 minutes the day it came out. It only worked for 20
Maybe
minutes.
you'll be playing it more in the future.
That's the thing. We
Who
make
knows?
Amy play Fortnite, but she has to
make
get
her
like
play
6
Fortnite.
dubs in a row.
That's
She
not.
doesn't have to buy anything. She just download the fuck.
There you go.
That's not how the wording of my agreement with Moody went. There was nothing in there about having to finish anything, about having to complete any challenges. It was literally just this one stream from start to finish will be me playing a game that Moody picks.
Asterisk until she gets a dub.
No.
And it'll be like this.
If the wording was you have to play Fortnite until you win a game, you will see me activate in ways that no one has seen since me and Moody used to play Apex Legends. Because I will want to get out of there as fast as possible. I will win my first match in 10 minutes and then just be like, I'm done. According to the terms of the contract.
This now, Vitz, are you okay re-editing the video?
According to the terms of the contract, I can leave now.
You must play it for 4 hours and win at least 2 matches.
Moody knows how
50% win rate. That's what we
Moody
need.
knows how disgustingly competitive I can be when I choose
When
to
she
be.
locks in, she funnily just goes full on punching mode on it. I won't lie. She doesn't pick up a gun. She just runs to punch
I
people.
forgot about Fist of Fury.
It's on the.
Is it on the thing?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you've got it up there because it's your gameplay. It's not on mine,
Yeah.
mine or Fairwald's. So it's just
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's just you. So,
Lockdown.
it's really
Yeah,
funny.
we just for context, Fist of Fury was we were playing Apex 3v3, and we dropped in, and another team dropped in, and everybody was picking up all of the guns, and I didn't see a problem. I just went, fuck, all right, then fucking let's go, and I punched all 3 of the opposing team to death, and they all had guns,
There you go.
And they all died.
but they all died.
And that's the moral of the story, friends.
And Amy was just like,
Yeah,
Exactly.
like Henry Cavill when I was done, just
Yeah, exactly when he reloaded his
my
Yeah.
face. It's like, where's the next team?
At the same
Let me
time.
at him.
this is the thing about that scene. It's a great scene. He still gets his ass kicked. He gets knocked out still. Which
It's all
is funny.
about-
I'm just like,
It's all about attitude, not results.
aye. And just how good looking he made it look.
yeah.
Just oh yeah. It's
Like
oh
it's
my God.
it's iconic. It's iconic. I can't do it probably because there's a desk in front of me, but you know, it's iconic.
Might have to watch that film again.
Might have to watch any mission. It's the only scene I've seen from that Mission Impossible film. I've not actually seen the film. I've just seen
You
Henry
haven't seen
Cavill
Fall-
reloads his
Fallout?
fists.
You haven't? Wow.
I haven't seen any of them.
Vitz. You haven't
Hello.
seen any of them?
I have not,
When's
no.
Kind of Funny doing their thing? They've got to be
They
doing
already
one,
did
right?
Mission Impossible. They already
Then
did
go
it.
back and rewatch them all.
There's no conversation to be a part of.
So wait. There wasn't a conversation to be part of then, Vitz?
No, that was during the era when they were doing like two different kind of funny reviews at a time, and I was like, well, I haven't got time to watch both of them, and Mission Impossible wasn't really speaking to me, so I picked the other one, whatever that happened to be at the time.
I won't lie, you can skip the first three. For me, I don't enjoy them. I never have. But from 4 onwards, peak, incredible, and they all just get better and better. The last one, maybe it was a little too long in the tooth, but yeah, still, yeah, incredible.
Fair enough.
Anyway,
Shall
we talk about video games and stuff?
Shall we begin?
I'm not doing Benedict Cumberbatch. Not about this. not seeing what joy and positivity Vitz has brought to the podcast this week.
I won't lie, he was terrorizing people in that film, so
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, you remember his speech? Too soon.
The best part about that movie.
Too soon. Anyway, sorry.
Let's go.
It's all right. So, friends, the first thing we're going to be discussing today is simply just the worst of times. So, this is from a write-up from Justin Carter at GameDeveloper.com. WB Games layoff closes 3 studios, including Monolith. Reading from the piece itself, Warner Brothers Games is reportedly shutting down 3 studios: Monolith Productions, Player First Games, and its self-titled San Diego team. Per Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, the trio developers will be winding down later this week. Monolith's Wonder Woman game has also been cancelled as a result of the studio's closure. There was a statement made, and I'll read some excerpts from it. Quote, "This is a strategic change in direction and not a reflection of these teams or the talent that exists within them," wrote WB Games in a statement. Quote, "We greatly admire the passion of these teams and thank every employee for their contributions." So let's just take that. It doesn't reflect the talent that exists within the team. So they all did great stuff, but we're going to get rid of you anyway.
And cancel your game. Great job, guys, but we're going to delete all of this and you're fired.
That's it. So why have they done this? All in service to make their dear investors and shareholders money, or make less money.
Because their earnings call is today?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. So nothing shady going on there. So, according to the report, Monolith quietly rebooted its Wonder Woman game, whose budget had said to already be over $100 million. In total, WB statement claimed it desired to deliver the highest quality experience possible for the iconic character is no longer possible with our strategic priorities. So I don't know what their priorities were or how they've shifted.
Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, DC, weirdly enough, which is Wonder Woman, and the other one. They have another one. What's the other one?
Was it Batman? No, NetherRealm. So Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. This is in a week where we also heard that James Gunn, who's heading up the DCU, so the DC Cinematic Universe, was in talks with like NetherRealm and Rocksteady about having some of their games have elements which tie into the universe that he's building as well, which is the stupidest idea on the planet. But who knows what's going to happen there if Warner Brothers isn't just getting out of the games business to begin with. I know their tactic before was to sell off the studios but retain the IPs that they were working on. So in theory, someone would buy Rocksteady but then still have to license the Batman Arkham license IP from Warner Brothers, and no one's going to do that. It's a silly thing to begin with. So that's already dead in the water. But there's a ton of layoffs in a few years where we've had a mountain of layoffs already, and this is all about making the wrong choices, and then none of the execs paying the price. It's all for everybody else. I know that David Haddad was previously head of Warner Brothers Games, and Jason Schreier did an amazing piece over at Kind of Funny as a Gamescast this week, which I highly recommend you check out. Really digging into what actually went down at these studios and the immediate reaction of the public itself.
Without having seen, like I said in the intro, like I only watched Game Showdown. So let me see if I can guess. Was it trend chasing?
Yep.
Mismanagement. Constant pivots.
Yes.
Which led to overspending. The key talent from studios being forced out because of all of those things that I just mentioned.
Yeah. So
fucking hell, I'm psychic. I should be a video game analyst.
There you go. So all of the leadership at Monolith have left before this announcement. So they were in the works of developing a game which was outside of the IPs that Warner Brothers wanted them to make. But they thought, you know what? We made a banger of a title in Shadow of Mordor. We also made Shadow of War. We made some mistakes in there with the loot boxes and stuff and rolled that back like 6 months within release.
Somebody made some mistakes. I'm not necessarily convinced it was Monolith.
Yes. But they thought, you know what? We've got enough cachet within the Warner Brothers family to do whatever we want. And they were working on their own title with the Nemesis system tied in. And Warner Brothers just wouldn't greenlight that game, but they kept kicking the can down the road, saying, "Oh, just keep working what you're doing, and we'll come back to you on that." Because none of the leadership there knew what they were doing, in many respects, but also weren't committed enough to make a call where they say, "Okay, we're going to greenlight this game. We're going to cancel this game that you're working on because we have this idea that we want to bring in, or we would like you to work on a Batman game or a Superman game or whatever it happens to be." So they just kept keeping the can down the road. And it led to the cost just getting higher and higher. And when the leadership of Monolith saw the writing on the wall of, well, this isn't happening, they abandoned their ship and they set up a new studio, which is currently working on a Black Panther game over at EA. I'm not sure whether it's a Black Panther cross Captain America game or whether it is the other Black Panther game, which is coming out because everything needs to be a superhero game these days. But so the immediate reaction was everyone was blaming current head of WB Zaslav, who has famously had a Batwoman film that was canned for tax reasons. And yes,
and Brendan Fraser was in it.
And there's the Wile E. Coyote movie that was apparently done and apparently amazing, and then that was canned for tax reasons as well. But for once, they are not to blame. There are other heads at Warner Brothers Games who are now left to pick up the pieces because they saw the success that Harry Potter sold. So that game apparently sold over 30 million copies, made over 2 billion in revenue. And then that happened to set the new precedent for Warner Brothers Games because they stupidly thought, well, every game that we should do these numbers, because why wouldn't it? It's not like people didn't have a gulf of 20 plus years of not having Harry Potter games to play, so there was an appetite for those people who were still franchised with the IP to go back to it, kind of thing. And it was fulfilling their fantasy of being at Hogwarts and doing whatever it is they wanted to do, kind of thing. It wasn't to do any of that. No, this is just a video game came out. It sold 30 million. Those are the two lines that they connected. And the writing's on the wall for Rocksteady and NetherRealm and for the studios that remain. But yeah, Monolith is a real kicker here because they were working on a Wonder Woman game and they were incorporating the Nemesis system in a unique way. Instead of Wonder Woman fighting enemies, which would feed back into the Nemesis system, she would come across allies and they would feed into the Nemesis system. And then as they go out and do more missions and they succeed and fail, that would adjust them within the ranks. And for dear listener, if you're unfamiliar with the Nemesis system, this was a thing that was introduced in Shadow of Mordor. Where the protagonist would come across various different orcs, and as you slayed them, there'd be a persistent story that followed each and every single enemy. So if you chopped off their arm, then when they came back in the story, they would have prosthetic arm, and they would remember you
pissed.
and have yes, and they'd be absolutely pissed. But in turn, if they would defeat the player, they would rise up their ranks and they would ascend to like a general status and then come out and they'd have this badass armor. But it was persistent storytelling. It was ever evolving, and it was amazing.
My one of my favorite moments in like video games happened while I was playing Shadow of Mordor. Thanks to the Nemesis system, and like I want to talk more about Monolith later because I think like they've all of their games have always been interesting from a technical standpoint, and they made some absolute bangers, and I'm really fucking annoyed that they've been closed down. But I was playing Shadow of Mordor, and one of the mechanics that it has is if at the time when it was released, it had online features where if one of your friends was killed by an orc, you could go and avenge them.
Yes.
For rewards. And one of my friends was killed by some orc guy, and I was like, sick. Let me go fucking avenge the guy. And I went over and I did the thing. I tried to do a stealth kill, but the orc was immune to stealth kills. So instead of me killing him, he turned around and we did this whole Clash of Swords thing, and he mouthed off, and he had his buddies with him, and it was like, right, it's on. Let's fucking go. Yeah. And then as I was fighting, another orc captain wandered into the view. So I'm fighting, and all of a sudden another guy just over there was like, Ranger! And then like there was more orcs, and I was like, fucking hell, this is getting a bit much. And then throughout the course of this battle, 2 more orc captains came in. So I was fighting off like 4 orcs, like, and all of their associated like friends, and there was like a cage with a warg in it. So like I was like running around like doing all this stuff, and I shot the lock off of the warg cage, and the warg came out. So I'm having this fucking epic sword fight with 100 orcs, and this warg is doing its thing in the background, and then the warg starts trying to kill me while the orcs are trying to kill me, and it's just like, damn, like in no other Lord of the Rings game when anything like that have ever happened.
Yeah, the closest I got to that was the Return of the King game, which came out on PS2. At least that's where I played it. It came out on 360 as well. And on the Fields of Pelennor, I think you had to slay like something like 100 enemies to make that happen in order to progress into the next like cutscene that would play out. And that was cool. But what they did in Shadow of Mordor was incredible. And speaking of the Nemesis system, this is a system that Warner Brothers themselves have a patent on. And that patent doesn't expire until 2036, I believe. And then
has that been confirmed?
Yeah, it has been confirmed. Yes.
Okay.
So, given the way this thing's gone, I don't think we're ever seeing that system again, which is a shame because it had a huge amount of potential. We only ever saw it in 2 use cases in terms of a Shadow of Mordor and then Shadow of War itself. And in an industry and in a time where the bloodletting has been relentless in terms of studio closures and layoffs, this one, anecdotally at least, seemed to have impacted a lot of fans more than others. Not to say that the loss of work of other people is lesser than. I think people have an emotional attachment to Monolith and to these games. I think that's one of the things which we delivered more of a gut punch than the other stories we hear on the daily when it comes to layoffs and closures. And again, it's all down to mismanagement and investors making bad bets based on the market for gamers peaked during the height of the pandemic, or height of lockdown, I should say, because the pandemic is far from over. And for some reason, people thought, well, the number's only going to grow from there. It's not like, it's capped, so therefore we need to make sure. Yeah.
We've got all of these people now, and they're going to convert more people. They're definitely not going to go back to doing things outside when they're allowed outside of their houses. They're going to keep staying in and playing video games all the time. Mm-hmm. Even I play less video games than I did during lockdown.
Exactly.
And I make YouTube videos.
Yeah. So their whole statement about their strategic priorities, and if your strategic priority for your video games arm is not making video games, what the hell is it?
Their strategic priority is bangers only, which you know what, like someone just walked into the boardroom and they've just written it on the whiteboard, you know, like bangers only, and then just drop the pen like it's a microphone. And for some reason, every other person in there doesn't know and just starts clapping. Like, what a plan! Oh my god, no one else is doing this. Like, Like other studios are making bad games on purpose. Like we could just make all of our games amazing and sell 30 million copies a year. I can't believe we've never thought of this before.
And the thing that gets me is that obviously Rocksteady came out with Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League with all of its issues, and we don't know as a fact how much of that direction came from Warner Brothers themselves, how much came from the heads at Rocksteady, some of whom have left by the time the game released, and now allegedly they're working on a new Batman game. Now, whether this is going to be an Arkham game, but it's like a Batman Beyond type of thing, or a return to the regular Arkhamverse, wherever that happens to be. Either way, they're starting from scratch, or at least in very early stages of production on that. So it's going to be, I would imagine, at least 6-7 years before we see that. And I don't think the bigwigs and the bean counters of Warner Brothers are going to let them make that game. They'll see, oh, well, the costs are the revenue is just, sorry, not the revenue, the operating costs are just climbing and climbing and climbing, because that's what it takes to develop a video game, and we're not seeing any return because they haven't released anything. So therefore, we're going to cut the studio, and I can see that happening.
I don't know. I don't like to speculate about studio closures, especially in the current times. But like, I don't know. We'll see. Like, there's a new person in charge. Who knows what the fuck is happening? Like behind the scenes at Warner Brothers Games, at the top end of Warner Brothers Games at the moment. Like, they have to release something to make money. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I can grasp onto in these times. Is like, yes, it's going to take a long time for Rocksteady, who just released a game, to release a new game. Same with WB Montreal, because they just released a new game 2 years ago. And
if
the
they
Avalanche...
use the same engine and everything like that, assets and everything, the game probably could be out sooner.
I mean, it could be out sooner, but you're not talking like, hey, next year, right? Like 2 years from now. It's still a long way away. In terms of like, in terms of not like releasing something and bringing in income, but like, if their grand strategic operational plan is to make Hogwarts money, you have to make games that are comparable in size to that. Yeah. So it is going to take time. It's the only thing I'm grasping onto with these kinds of things, in terms of, because like, you can't just release Hogwarts Legacy and be like, cool, we're going to make all the money and it's always going to go up with just this one game. Like, you have to make more games. Yeah. Like,
100%. And I bet there's people kicking themselves within the Warner Brothers studios to say, why do we make that a live service game to begin with, when we could have been making bank and that's it. But I wonder if, because we did get a Quidditch something or other last year, and I don't imagine that sold. I mean, to be fair, it's probably sold incredibly well in terms of everything else. But
well, I don't think what Jeff Snyder said on Kind of Funny yesterday, it didn't.
Yeah. So, but it didn't like the world on fire in terms of that. Yeah, Jason Schreier. So whether that's had a cooling effect, or whether they're like, okay,
no, there was no cooling effect. It was just a spin-off. It was a spin-off that nobody wanted.
No, I accept that, but then maybe their thinking is right. Every other studio is now support studio for Portkey games, because they're working on Hogwarts Legacy 2 or whatever they're going to call it, and that is their one and only thing. I know there's a Game of Thrones project that's in the works as well, and we'll see by the time that comes out whether people have been finally over and done with Game of Thrones. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, this is the extent of the bloodletting over at WB Studios and WB Games, but. Obviously, the first and foremost, our hearts go out to everyone who's been affected by this, and I hope that you were able to unionize, and for the places that you land next, if they happen to be in the video game space, that you unionize as well. So protect yourselves from as much as you can from this happening, and when it does happen, then you can be best set up for success in terms of getting the severance packages and redundancy packages that you deserve.
The worst thing I think that's going on in the industry is that this has just been a long-term thing of just constantly bleeding. The industry's been bleeding. Every major publisher, big developer has been bleeding money like crazy because of absolute mismanagement all over the place. Like PlayStation have been doing it. Go on, Amy.
The thing is, the industry is like, it's shrinking. Like, there's no doubt about that at this point. But like, it's not bleeding money. Like, we are subjected to non-stop quarterly earnings reports where all of these companies like, hey, look at all this money we're making. So like, that's the only part where I was like, it's not like it's making money. Like, it's making billions of dollars.
Well,
yeah, the market's matured as opposed to in growth. But to Moody's point, the teams and developers in the industry itself, they are losing talent day on day. So in that sense, it is bleeding. But to your point, Amy, from the bottom line of things, because they are making all these cuts in order to redistribute where the quote unquote losses are and draw red lines things and do tax cuts and what have you, they're still making their number at least go up. Maybe not to the exponential heights that they would have dreamed of, but it is still going up.
That's where I'm coming from. For me, I disagree that it is bleeding. They're doing these cuts to raise it up. They know they weren't going to hit their targets, so they're doing the cuts and everything like that. I know there's companies out there like the one who Netgear are just cutting just for the heck of it. Just for the heck of it, sounds like it's going over and everything like that. But yeah, it's just like it's been nothing but a constant bleeding effect for me, in my opinion, for like the last decade. It happened like with Ubisoft. Ubisoft, we can see it. They are in absolute turmoil right now, and they're praying to God that Assassin's Creed Shadows comes out and does well for them. And I think apparently it's pre-ordered very well, so hopefully it does sell well for them. And as long as it's a good video game, I'm hoping for that is a good video game and everything for it. But at the same time, like everyone's going through this. Like I was saying, PlayStation have just are going through it right now because they massively pivoted into a stupid direction that has massively hurt them. Like we've said multiple times on this. Microsoft,
and they laid off a ton of people too.
Yeah, close studios. Close the studio that Amy almost got a job at, which is. I'm really happy you didn't get that job, but my God, I'm really, like it's scary as hell to think that. And I think like how am I freaking hell? My company just was closed in September. It's disgusting, and that my company was one of the most profitable parts of that company, and that's the worst thing about it. There was other things going on behind things that I won't allude to yet. For that, I will eventually get to about what happened there and everything in the future, but I'm not going to get into it yet. But yeah,
it's that thing of if these companies were making losses, then there might be some justification. But it's even when the companies are successful and they're doing things and releasing games and whatnot, and they are profitable, they can be chopped as well. There's no kind of safe area anymore.
Yeah, there really isn't, and that's even more scarier.
While we're talking about Warner Brothers and fucking Harry Potter, remember the arguments a couple of years ago, where it's like, oh, but if we don't buy it and it's not successful, people will lose their jobs. And now here we are, and like you can release a fucking a game that finally dethrones Overwatch as like the hero shooter, and still lose a job.
Yeah, 30 million copies and still, it doesn't matter.
This is the thing about it. Like, I agree with what Andy Cortez has been saying. Hogwarts Legacy is royally fucked Warner Brothers games in general. Like the amount of money that game made, I never played it. I stood by on the ground of just supporting me in the trans community instead of playing a goddamn video game. But it was always going to sell. When me and Amy were talking about this game years ago, we knew it was always going to sell and everything. Because at the end of the day, even if we're not a fan of Harry Potter or anything like that, Harry Potter is a massive IP. I won't lie, I didn't expect it to sell this good. I admit that because I've heard always mixed things. Oh, the game's good. The game's all right. The game's shit.
The game could have been terrible, and it would have sold 30 million copies.
Matter,
it didn't matter.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, but
Matt Piscatella was saying recently that 40% of people who play video games only buy one game a year, and whether that is a Madden or Call of Duty. Yeah. And a lot of people came to video games or back to gaming through buying Harry Potter because that is an IP that they that they adore and love, and this was their vehicle to get that back into that space kind of thing. So I fully agree with what you're saying, Moods.
Yeah, the numbers he was speaking about were insane. Like, what did he say about Fortnite? That's like 30%.
Yes.
The game space, those games,
People who
Fortnite,
turn on,
like Marvel
on a
Rivals,
console.
yeah,
yeah.
Then they take it's the only thing they really play. About 30% of the audience, which is mostly like he going off what he said. That sounded like it was mostly just general gaming audience, not the the hardcorers and like
in
that. Yeah,
North America, because I think that's the numbers he has is for North America.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. So for people releasing video games at the moment, they are in North America at least are only targeting 14% of the US market.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of people who are actively engaged and buy more than like one game a year.
Mm-hmm. Which is us. Like,
yes.
And I think we've always sat on this podcast and said, like, we're not the main audience. Like, that's why I treasure my friendships with some people I know who only play like a couple of games a year. It's like, like I could keep in touch with the common people. You know, like I know what's going on the streets, like with the peasants. But
maybe he's a lady of the people is what we hear.
But we've always done this. We've always acknowledged it on our podcast that like what I think is startling is that the big AAA studios think that they can convert like more than that for like they can dip into like that Fortnite audience or that Madden audience to come and play their fucking Batman game or Suicide Squad game or whatever, which is not going to happen. Like you have to budget for, okay, I'm on like not all of these 14% are going to play this game. Like it's like you can't like bank on it being like this big breakout success. Like this has always been the case though. Like even way back, like when I first started paying attention to like the industry side of video games, like when Dead Space was coming out and like EA was wanting it to shift like millions and millions and millions of copies. It's like it's a horror game. Like it's a niche subgenre. Like it's not happening.
They already committed. They had a movie in production. They had a comic book line to go with it. They had everything. They were all set to make Dead Space like this multimedia franchise even before the first title had come out.
The worst thing is about that thing was, I think, and I don't want to sound like I'm giving EA credit here, okay, I'm not, or trying to defend them, is that they would have gone off their own estimates of like people of how the audience was speaking, especially with when Viscerals was closed and everything like that, and people were chastising them like over saying we're never getting a Dead Space game ever again and everything and whatnot, and then they would have seen the audience reaction and they would probably think this is something we can capitalize on, and the audience sadly didn't turn up for that.
No, I think the audience did turn up for that. I think what the overestimation was how many people are willing to put down for how big that audience is, how many people are willing to put down for that video game.
I think it's a bit of column A and a column B, more on column B on that EA just overstretched it and overthought it as always and everything when it comes to a corporation and everything.
And I think the audience of people who are buying brand new games on day one at £70 or £60 is also going down. Yeah. Like I think more people are waiting for patches, for sales, and again, I'm only talking about the 14% audience. I think people are waiting for patches. I think people are waiting for sales. Like the only games I have bought brand new this year so far, like 2 full months into the year, or like I've bought 2 indie games in. Not necessarily like to play them straight away, just because I want this in my library, I want to be able to install it at some point and just play it, and also to support these developers. Like Avowed, like is another game that I want to play, but I'm just gonna wait until it goes on sale, like because I can't really justify paying that extra for it, especially when it's probably not something I'm gonna get to straight away. So I think that's another factor in it. But with the Dead Space stuff, I was talking about like way back in 2008.
Yeah, when it first released.
I thought you meant when it for the remake. I do apologize.
I mean, same when the remake came out, it was the same thing. I think they overestimated the size of the audience that was there for Dead Space. Like, there's a passionate community of people who love Dead Space. I'm a part of it. So are you, Moody. But like, it's not. It's not even gonna get close to like other survival horror games, never mind like mainstream sales numbers.
Yeah, it was never going to tickle the fancy on that. I agree.
There you go. Alana Pierce is set to do an amazing video based on the kind of the state of the industry and how cooked it is. And one of the things she was saying over on Bluesky is that even with the demographic of teenagers at the moment, video games are not just fighting against other video games; they are fighting for attention spans. So teens are going to TikTok; they're not playing video games, and that is an issue when it comes to sales projections and all the rest of it. And it's probably the case that they're not accounting for that.
It's not even just teens, right? Like teens are going to TikTok and they're going to Instagram Reels. Like people in the next age bracket up are going to Netflix or going to Twitch. You know what I mean? They're going to go and watch someone play a let's play of a video game as opposed to buy the video game. People in the next age, people in the next age bracket up, like might be like playing older games. You know, they might be playing like games that they've collected. They might get that hit with that nostalgia bug of like, oh, I remember X game that came out 20 years ago. Like, let me go and play that, and then. You know, and then in perpetuity it goes up and stuff. It's like you're not just competing with the other games that are coming out. You're competing with everything, every form of entertainment. Like we'll get into later with another topic that we're doing. But I haven't played a video game for 2 weeks. Like I haven't put 1 minute into a video game at all because I've been doing other things. Like I was editing an Elden Ring video for like 12 hours a day for the last few days. But even around that, it's like I'm reading a Terry Pratchett book. You know, I'm playing board games with my friends. It's like video games aren't just competing with themselves; they're competing with every other form of entertainment. And sometimes, like again, like I shouted it down at the microphone before. It's like, you know, like I don't play as many video games as I did in 2020, and I make YouTube videos about them. But like sometimes I just don't want to. Like I can't be bothered.
Well, this is the thing. You need to be in that mind
I want to do other things.
Because video games are inherently interactive, they take more commitment than putting a Netflix show on or just stick a movie on in the background or stick a YouTube video on or Twitch or whatever it is. And not everybody's in that mind space to play a game, and that's absolutely fine. It's just the people making these games and making these projections of what it's going to sell, they just need to take these numbers into account as well and be prepared to face the reality that the number might not go up as high as it did last year, or heaven forbid, it might not go up at all.
It's it's the whole thing. Like I've said, I believe multiple times that there are way too many video games going out in general. Of just like, especially, and then you add on what you've just said, other competing stuff that they are trying to battle against, and it's insane. Like this last month alone has been insane of how many video games have come out and everything. I think the Yakuza game that'll be overall probably fine because I think it'll sell brilliantly in Japan and everything and whatnot, and it'll get enough probably over in the West and everything. But there's
sorry, go on.
No.
The thing about the Yakuza game, and I remember reading this about From Software and Elden Ring as well, or just like their games in general. It's like the Yakuza game didn't, because sales projections are partially or mostly based on how much money you spent on the development. So the more money you put into development, the more sales you need to make to recoup your development costs. So when you look at something like we were talking about in Discord with the Fable delay, and I said that game is never making its fucking development costs back because it's been in development since I was on an Xbox podcast. Like the Pirate and Yakuza game, what's the development time on that? 2-3 years, like maximum. Like
probably 3 or 4.
Yeah, like depending on when they started it in the process of while they were making Infinite Wealth, because obviously it uses a lot of Infinite Wealth's assets, which is, you know, incredibly smart and clever by RGG.
Efficient,
it's like like Elden Ring was a breakout success. It sold 28 million copies at the last time someone checked, or someone said, which, you know, puts it in the realm of one of the best selling games of all time. But I read an interview and I can't bring it up. I don't have it in front of me. Like From Software aren't banking on their next game being the size of Elden Ring again, like doing another like 28 million copies. It's like they're budgeting it for it to just
break
even and continue to make games. Like and that is not what a lot of the biggest studios are doing. Like instead of thinking, okay, like modest development time, modest development costs, modest sales projections, it's kind of like the Blumhouse model in films, where it's like they make not necessarily cheap movies, but they make movies with small budgets. And then if they go out in the cinemas and they don't make, like Paranormal Activity numbers, like it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a big loss if it makes a loss, and maybe it'll make a small profit. But then every now and again, one will just pop, and then they'll make a fucking shit ton of money.
That's
but
what
then
we need to.
the next film that they make, if one pops off and it makes back $50 million on a $4 million budget, the next one they make, they're not going, well, we'll spend $100 million and then we'll make $400 million. Like, but that seems to be how the games industry at the AAA end is being run.
And it makes no common sense. I don't know how they're getting to this. And it's even the folks, From Software, they are being smart in terms of, okay, so the very next release that we're going to put out is after Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. Let's put some respect on the name. Is Elden Ring Night Ring, which uses a lot of assets and built on the framework of Elden Ring. They're not reinventing the wheel. Yeah.
There's assets in Elden Ring that go all the way back to Dark Souls. Like
there is Centipede Demon. They're back.
I mean, things coming back, but it's like there's thing they reuse stuff all the time, all the way across Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne. Yeah. Like I was rewatching some footage last night when I was like putting my video together, and I was like, the lizard men from Dark Souls 1, like, you motherfuckers. Like, you know what I mean? It's like they use models and assets and all sorts of stuff that's been in the game for the entire time. It saves money.
Yep.
That's why God of War Ragnarok came out in 4 years. It was on a lot of the same maps with a lot of the same assets. Like, that's smart development.
Yeah, 100%.
And no horse testicles were shrinking in the cold, so.
Nope.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, there's no doubt, like, the audience is also powered or fascinated with IP. There's no doubt about it. That's how it is out there and everything. Like MCU, Marvel, comic book movies, and comic book games and everything like that, and so on. Like, that's why Call of Duty is always consistently one of the best-selling games of the year, along with FIFA and all the other sports games and everything. But also, like, Pokemon is also one of the biggest franchises out there and everything. It had massive numbers. It had massive numbers today when it comes to viewership and everything like that. I'll get to later on about the present and everything. But it is like, I know people scoff at IP and everything like that, but it's the audience is always constantly gravitates to it. I do agree. Like, I would.
Even when it doesn't work.
yeah, no doubt about that. No doubt about it. It is a. We could go on fucking really hours for this thing and everything when it came to this. Like, it is like what you said, Vitz. I hope that everybody who has been affected by these layoffs and everything does land on their feet as soon as possible. If that's in the games industry or out of the games industry, however you want. I hope you would stay in the games industry because you're absolutely amazing and everything. But I also understand and respect if you decided, I don't want any more from this and everything. I want job security where I'm not going to lose my job over a terrible manager running, changing his mind up and down all the time and everything for that. And yeah, it's just one of those things and everything for those things. I hate it.
I don't know, man. Like, I feel like the thinking inside of WB was, we cancelled. I imagine they cancelled the WB San Diego game, which we never heard about, and it never came like any. Like, I imagine they cancelled it. Multiverses was cancelled. They cancelled Wonder Woman, and I think what the motivation was from a boardroom level was, well, it's going to take them 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years to make another game. Like the similar thing to, was it Arcane Austin? Microsoft said that they did the same thing, where it was like, they released the game and it was going to take 7 years to make another game, so we thought we would just close them. I think that was the motivation to close these studios, and it leaves me wondering, like where's the tipping point? Like, so you release a game for a big studio, and then you go to Microsoft or WB or whoever, and you're like, cool, well, here's our pitch for our next game. It's going to take a similar amount of time. Like, do they just go, nah, we're not going to do that. We'll just chop the studio.
How about 18 months? Can you make it happen in 18 months? No.
This isn't the days of Dragon Age 2. Like, nobody
this is the
can
thing
do
about
that.
it. They've gone from one extreme to another, basically, where they were throwing out games within 2 to 3 years, crunching the teams like hell, making their lives miserable, to now making games that take 6, 7, 8, 10 years. Which is just not sustainable either, because they obviously want to recoup the costs and everything, which I do appreciate. A company who wants to recoup costs and everything.
I'm fine with that.
And then get them on to creating their next game and everything. They need to really get back to the middle ground. And I'm going to shout him out again, the freaking the ex-PlayStation boss and everything. Like, he had it right. He had it right.
Sean Layden, yeah.
Sean Layden, he had it right. Thank you for reminding his name again.
I was taking a drink really when you said it. I was like,
yeah. Like, the guy had it. For me, it's clearly like he never was ever able to implement his plan and everything like that. But for me, it just shows like I think it would have been successful. For me personally, obviously, I have nothing to go off on there. But right now, everything else is just shit. You're getting delays. You get, like, we've just heard Fable getting delayed. Like what you said, Amy, I agree. The production costs on that game has got to be monstrous for that new Fable game.
It's terrifying.
It is
because I don't think
Fable.
You talked about IPs before. I don't think Fable's an IP that can carry a blockbuster title. Like, it doesn't have the juice, as Vitz would say.
Yeah, it doesn't. It really, really doesn't have the juice, and. Yeah, the industry's fucked. That's a story. I think we all agree on that. The industry's fucked.
It's collapsing around us, that's for sure.
It's definitely doing something.
I don't know if the feedback that the teams are getting when they go to pitch meetings is, okay, we don't want to do this at all, or whether they are going there to say, okay, what we're going to pitch is a title which is much smaller in scope, but is stuff that we can get out within a short length of time, say 4 years as opposed to 7 or 8, that kind of thing. And I'm not sure if those conversations are happening because the teams themselves want to make bigger, greater, better things themselves, and they don't want their creativity to be hemmed in because of the reality of the situation of what the corporate overlords want. But yeah, I hope the bloodletting ends soon, but that's all I have to say. I just hope that it's over soon.
To my knowledge, Bramble, the Mountain King, a game I worked on, took about 3 years. 3.5 years to develop and get out and everything like that. And that's on a small publisher, AA indie developer.
Yeah. With a smallish team, right? Like,
yeah, very small team. And they were able to get a game out within 3.5 years, give or take. And they went through a few changes. Like, the game was, before I got to test it and play it and everything like that, was completely different, I was told. And they worked over for 6 months, going off the ideas and listening feedback and everything like that, and then compromising and everything to land on where they wanted to go with the game. And they were able to put out a game that sold incredibly well for merge and everything. It was one of our best-selling games, along with like Small Land to Survive the Wild. It was one of our best-selling games and everything. This is what I'm saying. Like, it's and that one went on. That had a longer development cycle. That one, the Small Land and everything, but. Yeah, it's bonkers. It's scary as hell with like, and for this type of thing, it really is.
Oh, wow.
And it also doesn't help that people want longer games. I'll just say that. There's nothing wrong with longer games, but I think the perception is the publisher's perception is that they think the audience wants longer games, so they can get a bigger bang for the buck. Like, they're paying 70 quid for a game, so they want a bigger game, a game that's going to last 30, 40, 60, 70, 80, 100 plus hours and everything. Like, SkillUp's just finished, I think, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I think he says in his video, the last one he dropped today, he put over 100 hours in that game. That's insane. And everything, but well, fair play to you and everything for that and whatnot. But it's like, that's like, but I'm like, right now, it's like I'm playing Lost Judgment right now. I've took a break from it right now just because I had other things ongoing this week and everything. But that's a game that's about a 30-hour game, but that's perfect for me. But that's just me though. At the same time, like,
different strokes, different.
Yeah,
it is different. I do want long games, you know. Like, I'll happily like
Oh, wait,
Sing.
you put how many hours into Persona 5? Sorry for putting in there.
Overall, like 200, 250 hours. I did play both versions of the game. Well, I'm not all the way through Persona 5 Royal, but
the last Fire Emerald that you really liked. You said I think you put 80 hours.
80-ish, yeah.
Correct me? Yeah.
The thing I want most is diversity. I want short games, I want medium length games, I want long
I just
games
want good
sometimes.
games. Like, and I know, I'm
That's
back to
it,
that thing,
basically, yeah.
back to that thing of the Warner Brothers man, bangers only. But I don't mean like you must make good games or like it's just like I just want games that I like. I see a game, I pick it up, I play it. Maybe it's 4 hours long, maybe it's Elden Ring, and I can't stop playing it over and over again. But
yeah.
But like, it doesn't give a shit. I don't give a shit how long the game is if I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
To my point about diversity, it's some games are brilliant because they don't overstay their welcome, and some games are brilliant because you never want to put them down. To your point, Ames, and there's a world where both can happen, and it's doing what's best for the art itself. In terms of if the story that you're telling needs 120 hours to tell, then by all means do it, kind of thing. But if you have a story that can be condensed to or that can be told succinctly in 10 hours, don't give me an 18-hour game. Because you felt the need to pad it out, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. Like
so many video games that I've played just flashed across my vision there as like, am I still here? What's happening?
Yeah,
where did I go?
Where am I? I'm in my room. Am I safe? Am I still me?
Are we still doing the podcast? What was that?
It's insane. But yeah, I hope everyone lands on their feet and everything. And deep down, I hate what Warner Bros. Have done, but I do hope they land on their feet as well because I want them to bring out great games. We want great, different, consistent games from them, and I hope the developers who are still working can get out a great game that people enjoy and everything. It doesn't fall on stupid, fucking idiot audiences who are fucking giving terrible negative backlash towards a thing of a game of whatever pathetic reason they trump up this time and everything like that. And just crack on.
Again, I feel like a bunch of stuff just flashed before my eyes there. Let's take a break. I'm having PTSD war flashbacks constantly here now, so maybe we should take a break for a minute. Let Vitz tell you about Pixel Pop Stars, which is happening on March 8th on twitch.tv/Vitz Patel, and I'm going to be one of the contestants. I think it's fair to say I'm going in as the underdog. I was the lowest scoring of the finalists. And my new choices for specialist subjects might not have been the best choices. Anyway, enjoy the advert.
What's good, everyone? My name is Vitz Patel, and I've been working on something special. It's time for Pixel Pop Stars, the all-new game show on Twitch. Specialist subject. Watch new episodes live on twitch.tv/Vitz Patel.
And we're back. Hope everybody enjoyed your break. I've stopped having PTSD flashbacks.
And now just anxiety about Pixel Pop Stars going back March 8th.
Yep. It's fine. It's you know what? I'm there for a good time, not necessarily a long
game
time.
show.
It's only a game show. It's not like I have any lingering traumas about previous game shows that I've been a part of.
No, why would those thoughts even be entering your mind right now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's time for Indie Game of the Week. This is the thing we do every week where we talk about a cool-looking, upcoming indie game that we think you should click on the link of, which is in the description, and then have a look, and then wishlist the game. And then if you really like indie games, there's another link down there in the description to our Steam curation page, which has all of our previous indie games of the week on it. So you can go there, you can click on it, you can see well over 100 indie games. For your perusal, for your viewing pleasure, and maybe go and find some cool looking indie games because there's some cool looking indie games on there. I think. And since
sure are.
I'm the one talking right now, I am objectively correct. That's how this podcast works. This week's indie game of the week is called Eriksholm, The Stolen Dream. Experience an isometric, narrative-driven stealth game. And join Hannah's adventure in the vibrant city of Eriksholm. The mysterious disappearance of her brother Herman ignites a chain of catastrophic events that will forever change their lives and the fate of the entire city. And then there's bullet points. It's a narrative adventure with distinct characters, strategic gameplay, and a vibrant world. I like the look of the world. That's what's like drawn my eye to it. Like, love a good isometric game. I'm an isometric game fan. But that under the vibrant world bullet point, they were saying that the city that they've built is heavily inspired by Nordic cities of the 1900s. Don't like the fact that 1900s is a thing now. Just gonna put that one right out there. But apart from that, like I like
1900s is a big time span, you know.
It's like no. 1999 was only a few years ago, Vince.
Exactly.
Robbie Williams with his Millennium song, it wasn't that long ago.
Will Smith and the album Millennium, yeah, I was there.
Exactly. Wild Wild West came out not long ago on VHS. But yeah, no, like the it's the look and the art style of like the design of like the city, which you're going to be spending a lot of time staring at from a offset top down perspective, like over here somewhere. And I really dug the vibes. Maybe I just like Nordic stuff. I like Bramble because of all the Nordic mythology, folklore. Maybe I'm just drawn to that. But this one. Sorry.
I'm a big fan of Severance with their kind of Scandinavian design influences everywhere. So yeah.
I'm a big fan of Severance just in general. That one's called Eriksholm, The Stolen Dream. Links in the description. Click that, wishlist it. Wishlisting games is like one of the best things that you can do right now. So,
yeah,
go do that.
Do it now. Do it.
I'm right here.
Anyway,
too many pencils, Dylan.
Moody.
Yeah, mate.
Would you care to talk about Pokemon?
I can always care to talk about Pokemon.
I'm giving you permission now.
What kind of Pokemon do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about sexy Pokemon, or you just want to talk about Pokemon in general? Or
let's leave sexy Pokemon for some kind of charity fundraiser milestone thing. Just talk about regular Pokemon for now. I don't think our podcast audience is here for regular the sexy Pokemon.
Unless you are, dear listener, be sure to let us know in the comments below.
All I'll say is that Amy,
what's up with his Gardevoir?
That's all I'm going to say. Amy didn't leave the stream, and I didn't finish the stream until I got a Gardevoir for Amy on Pokemon Legends Arceus. And that happened.
Give the people what they want. So
I gave people what they wanted. Exactly. So, hey, Pokemon Day is here. As the day of recording, it is Pokemon Day, the 27th of February. And Pokemon Presents happened today. And it got a lot of updates and everything for what basically, I'll just state right now, what I thought was going to happen and everything. So, we go through, I've got a list here of everything here, and we'll then have a quick chat of other things and everything for the main thing of later on. But so they started with Pokemon Concierge here. This is a Netflix series it follows the story of Haru, who is finding her feet as a concierge alongside her Pokemon side duck. It's a stop motion animation. Stop motion looked beautiful, I won't lie, by the way, when I saw it. I was thinking that is a really good looking thing. It's a new season is in production, is slated for release in September. The first 4 episodes apparently are now free on Pokemon's YouTube channel if you want to go and give that a try.
Yeah.
Next up was the Pokemon TCG Pocket Game, and a new pack was confirmed of Arceus. The pack star is Arceus, and it is called Triumphant Light. It's available from February 28th. That is the day of the release of this episode. So go out if you're a Pokemon TCG Pocket person. You're right there for you. There was also updates for Pokemon Go ahead of its latest event on March 1st and 2nd. That's already been published, publicized, should I say. And Pokemon Cafe Remix and Pokemon Sleep all had updates as well. Mega Evolution is also coming to the Pokemon TCG.
This is where I got here because we were going to watch it together. but I was hanging washing.
Yeah. Amy was a little late.
So I was late.
Amy was late. Next, we had an update for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This is basically just a redeem of the Rotom phone case. There's also a mass outbreak events that are happening on the game as well right now. 3 upcoming Terra Raid battles that are all the 3 starters for Scarlet and Violet. For that and more Pokemon to appear in the future for those games. Nothing for an update to see if the game's going to get patched to be run better or anything like that. It was just Terra Raids and everything like that, which deep down I actually thought was going to happen. The next thing was the thing that is called Pokemon Champions. The trailer shown Pokemon trainers connecting and playing Pokemon Stadium games and various consoles and games. We're having features over the years have been shown. When I was seeing this, I was thinking, whoa, are they actually doing this? Are they going to do put all the games on the Nintendo Online thing and everything? It just because he showed all of them, I was thinking, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's ballsy and
really
everything.
Sweaty in that.
He was,
I won't lie.
They were dripping sweat.
It was weird.
Have you ever played a Pokemon battle where you're dripping sweat?
Yeah, they even put on saying this is added in. They've put it in themselves and everything. I think it's really funny.
Effects added. Yeah, I remember pointing that one out. But yeah, when they were like, it's the Game Boy and it's the N64 and stuff, and Rudy's going, are they gonna do it? Are they doing it today? And I was the wet blanket. I was sitting there going, no, they're not.
No, I could feel it in behind me. Yeah, but it shows off a brief look at a brand new title called Pokemon Champions, and it looks like a new Pokemon Stadium kind of game. Players can battle other players around the world. Game Freak is working on it with development. We're being handled by Pokemon Works.
Does it though?
Yes.
Does it? Are you sure this time?
The title.
Excuse me?
Pokemon Works
is not a statement.
The last one didn't.
Pokemon Works ? Is what I'd go.
It's getting handled by the team of Pokemon Works.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Okay.
Pokemon does not work. I disagree.
Okay.
I played it.
Well, Violet and Scarlet, yeah. It can connect to Pokemon Home with Pokemon transfers from Pokemon Go and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It is in development for Nintendo Switch and mobile and everything. And I think it also just the Nintendo Switch family. I think they said on the thing, singing
family system of consoles.
Yeah, they would have found a way. Then came the big reveal of Pokemon Legends ZA, or the new trailer for it. It finally was shown. It shows Pokemon characters living together in Lumious City in the Kalos region. It's undergoing a redevelopment plan, and when players arrive, one of the 3, you have choice of the 3 Pokemon starters there, and that is Chikorita, Tepig, and Totodile. So you're going to get 2 Johto and 1 Unova, the region Pokemon, which I thought was very interesting. But I won't lie, I'd laughed online saying, justice for Cyndaquil. I'm thinking, Cyndaquil was in the last Legends games, you smugs. And what it's either here and there. But players
I'm sorry, did you forget how up in arms people were when the Living Dex or whatever it was wasn't brought to the mainline Pokemon game, and everybody was threatening to go and burn down Pokemon HQ because they couldn't bring all the other original Pokemon wasn't in Sword and Shield, maybe?
Yeah, it didn't have the 1,000 odd Pokemon.
Yeah, and everybody got mad.
Yeah, because
everybody. Yeah, but these are the same people who were like justice for Cyndaquil. It doesn't matter what came before.
Yeah, that's true.
They want everything in this one.
Yeah, but like I've stated before, they're idiots. Anyway, players will meet a new friend and an ally, and will be staying at a new hotel being run by the characters named AZ. There are wild zones in the city where wild Pokemon can thrive. To catch them, and players have
got a good
to
one
aim
for that.
carefully. Okay, they can. It's basically what you had with Legends before. You're able to catch them and everything like that. And there's also apparently what I've just had a look online as well. I think that it wasn't fully. I don't think they really mentioned it properly, but they showed battle gameplay in the game, and apparently it is
3D.
the first time that it's a real time combat apparently in the game and everything. So where you're able to move around and the Pokemon will move around and dodge apparently, but I don't know how well it will work. They only showed obviously a little bit of glimpses of that game. for that. But yeah, that was it basically. No new updates for anything else really, and yeah, that's basically what I thought it was. And I saw like a couple of people thinking, would we announce the 10th generation or do the 10th generation the same year as they're doing the Legends, like they did the year when they did Legends, Arceus and Scarlet and Violet and everything. For me, I was just like, no, they're not going to do that again. I think they learned from their lessons for that, but they also want to do the 10th generation on the 30th anniversary.
Yeah, we spoke about this last week.
Last year, yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember you mentioning that you were hopeful that they would come out with updates and an apology for the way that Scarlet and Violet ran and anything like that. And I don't think we got anything to do with that. We're getting more content, but there wasn't specifically to say, oh, there's a patching coming and it's going to run better now. It may even hit 20 frames a second, but I don't think there was anything like
Tripled.
that. But
it was never there. They were never going to do that. I was just wishful thinking on me and everything.
Oh, yeah,
I don't think they would. Go on.
There's a large contingent of the Pokemon fan base who have to like guzzle copium on a daily basis just to to make their day work. But I'm glad that you had fun with it and there weren't any surprises. It was surprising to me of just how many different Pokemon titles they have going at any one time, and then like you consider. They didn't show any updates to Pokemon Smile, even though there probably are some. But it was a tight a video package, and it went by really quick in terms of right. There's an update for Cafe. Here's an update for Sleep. Nightmares are going to be banished somehow. You're going to get to fight those. So that's going to be something. But yeah, the speed in which they rattle through things, I think, was impressive. Less so the outfit of your man, who always has killer looks, but this one was a miss for me.
Pokemon, they just go in, they show their stuff, and they get out, basically. That's what they do. They always have done that and everything. And I think that's just, like, pretty admirable of them. They're just, like, they know what they have. They know the audience they're basically targeting for them, whereas everyone who plays these type of games and everything, even the mobile games and everything, they know their audience and everything like that. You may get people who like, react to it and who say, oh, that wasn't great or anything like that. That's fair and everything like that, but I don't think it was really towards you type of thing. But especially if I don't, but you're probably not really an avid Pokemon gamer, like with all of these games and everything, and up to date with all of them. I'm not up to date with all of them, but I knew what I was going in for. I knew I was going to be what they were going to be doing updates for, and I knew I was just going to get probably Pokemon Legends ZA trailer, and I got what I wanted. So I was okay with it. I hope people are. I won't lie. I think I did it a little bit last week, but I have a feeling that people are going to blow up way too much next year for the 30th anniversary. I think they're going to be expecting banger after banger after banger after banger, and I think Nintendo are just gonna, Game Freak are just gonna go, here's updates for all these.
So anyway,
he's Generation 10
in Pokemon Sleep.
See you in November.
I find it funny that I've watched exactly 2 of these Pokemon streams, and both times like something or some I've had something to do with Elden Ring.
Funny, yeah.
It's very strange. No, I mean, like, yeah, I was late to the stream. I got there for like the Pokemon trading card thing. I don't know. Like, I was halfway through it. I didn't understand what was happening. So it's like one of those things where it's like, I'll just grab onto the next thing, which was Pokemon Champions. But like, yeah, the only thing I was really bothered about was the thing at the end. And I just remembered when you were talking about Wild Zones. Because me and Moody were watching it in voice chat, and they started showing off the wild zones in the middle of the city. Yeah, and I was like, the Pokemon have taken 50% of the city. We can't hold them back. Yes, they're breaking through Gate 3. But
this is when Powell crosses over and like all the training.
I did actually make that joke when they were showing that, when they were like talking about the next evolution of Pokemon combat. I was like, did they give them guns?
Mm-hmm. It's Pokemon with guns.
The thing is, if you look at Lumia City, it's looks very much because it's like it's like got 5 or 6 sections. It's very much like Midgard from Final Fantasy.
It's weird how it looks. It's weird how it looks like they're like the city fell to Pokemon and they're slowly reclaiming it. It's like, because it's not put like, I'm assuming the game isn't like some kind of post-warfare like story, but like that's the way it comes across in the vibes of the trailer. Like, because like the wild zones that you see, it's like, it does look like post-war, like, you know what I mean? Like, we
Yeah,
fought
because
the
there's just
Pokemon.
cars parked errantly
Yeah,
and
and like things like it's like did you fight the Pokemon for the city and you've got them contained in these zones?
That Pokemon ate the driver.
I don't understand
For
what
sure.
the vibe is here, but I'm sure it's just Pokemon, like, because it's all set in the one city, right? So you've got to have the places where you can go and catch the Pokemon. So like, it's just the best idea they came up with. The 3D combat was interesting, and I don't know whether I feel that's like good interesting or bad interesting right now.
Because you can move your character in Arceus, right? Like during combat.
Yeah. Your character, but you're not your Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
They just stood there and just whacked each other.
Yeah. So interesting to see what happens, and like I was alluding to last week, I know there were people out there who had hopes of seeing either mention of the Switch 2 and things like that, and I think I was coming to the table and saying that we're not going to hear anything until Nintendo say that. So it very much appears to me that Legends ZA is going to be a Switch title and a Switch title only, in terms of I don't reckon you're getting another SKU for Switch 2 which runs better, has more bells and singing. It'll be whatever inherent updates and the performance updates that the Switch 2 brings, if any, because we don't know yet.
It'll probably be built from the Switch generation console. There's probably no doubt about that when it comes to Legends here. So it's probably, but it'll be released on both consoles, no doubt.
Do you think they'll do like a Pokemon? Because like they've done it before, right? Where it's like you get like Pokemon Sun and Moon, and then later on there was like a third one. I can't remember what it was called.
You mean so basically they always went like, so it was red and blue, then they did a yellow one. Then they did gold and silver, then they did crystal, ruby, sapphire, emerald. They kind of stopped doing that when they got to the black and white era, the Universe era, because they did black and white, then they did black and white 2. Didn't do a third SKU or anything like that. And then they went to Kalos, which was just X and Y. They didn't have sequel games or anything for that. Then they just went to then they went Sun and Moon, then Ultra Sun and Moon for that. They haven't done it for a good few years, not since Platinum.
So no quote unquote definitive editions.
I guess that's what I was trying not to say. I was like, I think we'll do a definitive edition, like.
No, they've stopped doing that for ages now. So I think it's just because they want to try and get out the next generation as quick as possible, as quick in a earlier time frame. But it's going to be like 4 years, I think, since when the next generation comes. So we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. And hey, as long as people have fun playing it, regardless of how it runs, then more power to them.
The one thing I will say is that I think there's a reason why why people who have been crying out for at least like something about the second generation and something about the black and white era games and everything like that, why we got 2 Johto starters and 1 Unova starter. Like overall, Tepig, I might be incorrect here when it comes to the Pokemon Origins here, but it's arguably the one Pokemon people mostly played when it came to playing those games, because he was the best typing for the games compared to the grass and water starter. Then you've got and then the Johto region has just it hasn't that was when Pokemon was kind of slowly going down in popularity compared to everything else, compared to like what it was in its heyday with the Kanto region and everything, like the first games and everything like that. It then bounced back, I think, with Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald and everything. So like Johto, I think's kind of not fondly thought of by the Game Freak and Pokemon Company and everything. I might be incorrect there, but so for me, it's like them doing these starters for me is like them saying, you're not getting a Pokemon Let's Go Johto region, and you're not getting a Black and White 3 or whatever. You're not going to get that. So that's why I think they're doing.
The first 2 posts I saw on Bluesky after, like when I was scrolling afterwards, like the first one, and these were like one and then the other, and the first one was like, oh, those starters are like really mid, And then the very next post down was like, those starters are amazing. And I was just like, okay then.
Yeah, Joel and
This is what I'm here
even
for.
though Black and White are like dubbed are thought of as like arguably the best games in the out of all of Pokemon, basically in Black and White 2. But like when it comes to the starter Pokemon, they aren't fondly thought of whatsoever. So it's a very interesting concept when it comes to like the Johto and the Unova regions.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's only going off what I've read and everything like that. People might think otherwise.
I just googled what's the best Pokemon game, and there was two lists. Two lists came up, and they both said Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And then there was a Reddit post sandwiched in between those two lists, and it says, from an objective standpoint. And I was like, okay, cool. I don't need to read the rest of that sentence.
Because it's not objective.
Because it's not objective. Dumbass.
Yeah. For me, I would go Emerald, Black and White, I think, and Platinum. Those are for me. I would say are the best.
Emerald and Platinum are 2 and 3 on the second list.
Yeah. Those, for me, I think are very highly thought.
I don't know. This is Google. It could be lying at this point. Like I tried to Google a TV show earlier today, and it gave me some fucking wild plot summary that had nothing to do with the TV show. So
I saw the one post of someone had searched for bees inside a computer just to see what it would spit out, and apparently microscopic bees have been living inside your computer since the early 1900s. And they are responsible for doing the computations of the CPU. So it's microscopic bees that you need to replace Ames.
Okay.
Those damn bees.
Yeah.
Those damn bees.
Yeah. Someone posted another one where they'd searched how many pizzas do we need to feed 8 people.
I saw that.
And Google's response was, you need 8 medium pizzas, which will average out at 3 slices per person. I was like,
that math tracks.
Perfect.
Yeah, no notes.
Yeah, I saw that. But going off, like, my hope here though is that, like, hopefully that they're putting down the foundations of like maybe trying to get back to doing some more of a remakes of like obviously the Lumious City. It's a big pivotal thing in the X and Y games and everything. So I'm hoping that maybe that's something they've created the assets and everything like that, and then maybe in the future they're gonna be able to expand to maybe doing remakes for X and Y in the future, which hopefully won't cost them as much and everything compared to
someone's already working on it and they're like, we've got the city now. We're just building the bit around it.
Yeah, basically.
Can I ask the city itself? Do you happen to know, is it all, this might seem a silly question, is it all kind of built up city, or is there like a park in there? Are there grasslands in the city? Like, is there any diversity within the city, or is that the city is the main hub, and then the regions outside of that's where you find all the countryside and whatnot?
No, you're trying to get me to go back to my knowledge of this, and my knowledge is very limited on this game.
Just go and get it. Is it not behind you?
No, I don't have it anymore.
If you don't know the top of your head, then that's fine. All I want to do is get a sense of the different environments people are going to be going when they play Legends ZA kind of thing. Is it all going to be quote unquote samey, or is there going to be some diversity in terms of, oh, now you're in the grasslands part of the city, and that bit is a nature reserve and a wildlife reserve and that kind of thing, and then this is more Google. Downtown and is all built up and stuff like that. All
right, cool. So according to Bulbapedia, Google tried to give me like some fucking answer, and I was like, not even gonna read it. There's the South Boulevard, the North Boulevard. There's 4 avenues. Yep. Oh, we don't do pictures, Bulbapedia, do we not? That's good. I don't want to read all this.
Yeah, I can send you a picture.
I'm probably waiting for the game to come out to show you.
Don't want to read all
this. This is the image I've just sent you on Discord. This is like basically what the Lumious City will look like in this game. It looks like it's a very mixed up type of thing. Yeah, city with grass and everything like that. So
there's restaurants.
Yeah, the X
I
and
wonder
Y
what they're cooking
area.
in those restaurants, Ames.
I think the tower tells you everything with the X and Y areas. It's meant to be Paris, Lumious City, so
What meat apes? Where's the meat coming from?
Animals.
What animals?
I'll say this: like the games that they go from the trailer, it seemed like it was running better than when they first revealed Scarlet and Violet and everything. The visuals are still ain't something I really get on board with and everything, but I'm not going for Pokemon games when it comes to the visuals and everything. So as long as it run great and does what it needed to do, I'm overall fine with it and everything. But no, yeah, it was the Pokemon Day present that I knew was going to happen, and I got what I wanted, and I'm okay with it. So
Probably do a supercut of Moody's predictions from last week, and they're probably all there.
Yeah.
If I could be bothered, I'm staying away from the video editor for a while. So,
are we interested to see if we get another trailer at the Nintendo Direct in April?
yeah, maybe not.
I'll be surprised if
It's a bit-
I think we don't.
It's a bit
personally.
close.
Yeah, that's how I see it. But I think
I
they might
imagine
just.
they're
I think they show it, but just to say that this will be on Switch 2
On a
type of
graphic.
thing. But other than that,
Because they had one last time when they did the Switch reveal. They had that graphic.
And it had all the
with all
logos. Yeah.
the game's logos.
Yeah.
Of like, this is what's coming on launch day. This is what's coming within certain time. This is what's coming in the rest of the year.
yeah.
There's Pokemon.
Yeah.
Gotta catch them all.
That's what I hear.
No, I didn't. I gave up.
Oh, so did I. I beat the Elite Four back in '98 or whatever it was, and then that was it. I was like, you know what?
Got all my gym badges. I got all my star badges. I got all my monster badges. And then I did the last quest. That's fine. I was good. And then Moody was like, "There's DLC," and I was like, "No, no."
My eyes can't take no more.
I wanna remember this game fondly. Thank you.
But yeah, Merry Pokemon Day to all those to celebrate.
Yeah,
Names.
it was fun. I hung some washing out and called the end of a Pokemon stream. Yeah. So last November, I did a podcast with Moody. Vitz was absent for that one about the Backlog project that I'd done for the previous year. Where I've been running a spreadsheet. It's a whole thing. I'm not going to like re-explain the entire thing, the entire concept of it. But it's a spreadsheet where I track the games that I'm playing, how much time I'm putting into them, and also just like writing my thoughts down about each game as soon as I finish them. So like my raw thoughts on each game. And Moody suggested several things. I do several things, and I took all of his suggestions on board. The first one was to make the spreadsheet public so people could follow along with it. Links in the description. And the second one was to maybe just do updates every now and again on the Backlog project. And I thought, I'll do quarterly updates. They'll be less depressing than the normal quarterly updates that we talk about on this podcast, because they'll just be about some games that I played. And I know that when I talked about the Backlog project last time, it really helped Moody out, figure some stuff out about playing games, which was good. So that's the reason that I keep doing it. So this is the first update. I don't really know how this is gonna be structured, but yeah. So I've got my stats here for November, December, for December, January, and February. And I know February hasn't ended yet. But like, if I play a game tomorrow, I'll add it to the spreadsheet, and these stats will be slightly off. But if you're looking at the spreadsheet now, which I know someone is, I can see them looking at it. It's quite funny. So in December, I played 81 hours of games.
Damn.
4 games played, 3 games finished. Then in January, I played 66 hours. 2 games played, 2 games finished. And then in February, I played 51 hours, 2 games played, 2 games finished. I've counted the hours for things like what I call background games. So like when I played Sea of Thieves with Ryan, when I played Mario Party with Sadie, when I played Elden Ring just for the crack. Not like a serious, like, I'm going to sit down and finish this game, because I like played it for a bit and then I played something else. But in terms of like the games that I'm actually trying to finish, so like there's a big dip. Which I can explain is in December I had finished writing my script and was leaving it for a few weeks before I went back to it, and then in January I got back to writing it, and then in February I was editing. And you can see that happen in real time on this spreadsheet, which I think is quite funny. But yeah, so I played 8 games in total. I started with Nier Automata, which you both voted for in a Discord chat poll.
Yes.
That I remember. I played that for 6 days, apparently. So I love being able to look at this and be like, yeah, I did it in 6 days. 33 hours. And I got real fucking mad at the game, according to these notes.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it was interesting. I don't know if you want me to go through the notes or of like my thoughts on
This
each
is your
game.
segment. Take it away, go.
I don't know what would be helpful. Like I imagine we'll be fine-tuning this process over the coming months. But it was a really good game. And then I did Route B, which was just Route A again. Yes. But with more hacking, which I hated. Fuck hacking. I wrote that in the notes. And then the last 30 minutes were like actually like, oh, this actually like is new information. Why did I have to sit through 6 hours of this game just to get this 30 minutes? And then I got even more mad when I played Route C, because Route C goes fucking crazy. Like right off of the bat, it was fucking amazing. And I was like, and now I'm even more mad that I had to sit through those 6 hours of bullshit. But no, I did end up really enjoying the game. Hence why I played it in 6 days. 33 hours in 6 days is not reasonable.
No.
But that's what I did, apparently. The next game I played was a brand new game. Uncle Chop's Rocket Shop had just come out. I tried it. It was this close to being an Amy-ass Amy game. It's where you run like a spaceship garage, I guess. And you have this big manual, and you have to like fix the different components on the spaceship that are wrong. And it's very like, I don't know what the word is. It's very like tactile. Like, you have to like pull the levers and move the things and turn the things, and you pick the thing up and go over here and get the other thing. And it was really good. But for 2 things. One, it's a roguelike. And I have nothing against roguelikes. Some of my favorite games are roguelikes, but
exactly.
That style of game with this did not mesh. So like, I'm trying to get through the game, and I'm at like day 4, and that's like an hour and a half of progress I've done. And like the jobs get more complex as the days go on. Like, and then, fuck, I didn't make enough money. Or like, oh fuck, this thing exploded, which I'll get to in a second. So now I have to go all the way back to the beginning, and I have to start doing the really simple jobs again. And it was like, it's starting to get tedious. But the other part was there are like fatal jobs. But it's like, if you take them on, the reactor's going to explode, and you've got 30 seconds, and you've got to try and like balance all the things. And I will remind you, you don't know how to fix it. You have to be reading the book. And the first time it happened, it was really funny because like I saw the reactor thing, I pulled the panel off, I opened the book, and the first line that it says when you get to the right page is, "You should have read this before you started the job, you fucking idiot." And then the thing exploded. And I was like, that was very funny. But the problem is, because like all the severity of the repairs is like random. Like sometimes it was a case of I didn't have enough time to do it, even if I knew what I was doing. And also I was really having trouble like learning because I was under, and yeah, those 2 things. I was just like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
That's fair.
That was the only game I haven't finished so far. I did 1,000 Times Resist, which I talked about in Game of the Year. Amazing game. I did that in 2 days. Really enjoyed it. Parasite Eve, I did in just under a week. It's got a fire-breathing T-Rex boss fight, and they talk about sperm for like half the game. It's great. I was sending screenshots to these two, like, this is my life now.
This is the thing.
But I really enjoyed it. And then I played Tales of Vesperia, and that was interesting. An interesting experience with that. You might notice it took a while. Like the date started and the date finished. I struggled with this one. I realized that I've played, depending on how you count the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy, I've played more Tales games than I've played Final Fantasies, which was interesting. It was very strange. Tales of Vesperia is like a lot of people's favorites, and I was like, I'll give this one a try then. I already own it. And it was a struggle. Like,
Oy.
the story was great, but it just went on and on. And Vesperia is like this. So the older Tales games are two-dimensional, like lanes almost, like combat, because it's all real-time combat where you like do special moves and stuff. And then the newer ones are in these fully 3D like environments and stuff. And like Vesperia's combat is like stuck in this weird middle ground where it was the first one that went 3D in the thing, but it's still like very clunky. It feels clunky. Probably didn't at the time because it was like brand new, but like I've played like Tales games beyond it where it's a lot smoother, so I wasn't really enjoying the combat very much. And this game goes on a bit. At 50 hours.
Damn.
And yeah, like I wanted to finish it because I was enjoying the story and the characters are really good, but I was just like, I'm so glad it was over when it was over. And then I didn't play a game for like more than a week after that.
It's akin to Metaphor Refantasio is what I'm getting in terms of you were down for the story, you were digging the characters, but it was kind of like in this instance you kind of pushed through the gameplay rather than what happened with Metaphor. In terms
there
of
was never any sort of like, this is too annoying now, I'm gonna dip moment. It was just like, oh, man, gotta do another dungeon. Oh, fine. I did End of Magnolia, which I reviewed a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then I did Dragon Age Origins in 1 week. I was on holiday. In my defense, I was on holiday and I'd specifically decided not to do anything. Like productive, air quotes. So I played Dragon Age Origins for 41 hours. And then I played Keep Driving over the space of a couple of days, which I'll talk about later, like in depth later. But yeah, I finished Keep Driving on the 16th of February and I've played nothing since. It is the 27th of February. Hence the dip in my playtime because I've been editing a video. But one thing that was interesting about this spreadsheet, and I know we talked about it, Moody, where it was like last year when I did the thing, I had a big backlog list, a massive list of games. I was like, I want to play these games. And I spoke to you about that list becoming less and less relevant as the year went on. And we deviating from that list. And then we talked about maybe it's like updating it periodically. And yeah, that turned out that was quite spot on in terms of like, I made a shorter list and I was, and at the beginning I was knocking games off of, apart from Uncle Chops, I was like knocking games off of this list, being like, just going on the list and being like, oh, I fancy playing that, playing it. And then as time went on, the list became less relevant to what I was feeling, and I was starting to like go off and play Dragon Age Origins, which was not on the list. So yeah, I updated it a couple weeks ago. Deleted a ton of stuff. Added a few things. It's a shorter list now, but yeah. So that was correct. If you are playing along at home and running your own backlog list, I recommend periodically updating the list of backlog games every time you start looking at it and thinking, I don't really fancy playing any of these.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what you don't want it to do is ultimately end up being a chore. And always be playing stuff that you actually want to be playing rather than forcing yourself, because then your chances are you're not going to have a great time. And then the whole thing just becomes a slog. And at the end of the day, video games are supposed to be fun. And that can take many different shapes and sizes in terms of, some games are scary, and that's how that can be fun to you kind of thing, not so much for me. And other games can be thrilling in other ways. And you need to find games which you're in the mood for, and if they don't appear in your backlog, then that's okay. You can always, as Amy did, deviate and then come back to it when you're ready, and prune and add to the list as need be.
I think doing it in big chunks is good. Like when we spoke about the list, it's a good fallback. If there's nothing on my mind to play, like I've got a list that I can look at and then maybe pull something out from. Like it's not good to treat it as like a Bible almost, or like prescriptive. It's like when when I played Dragon Age Origins, I didn't look at the list first and then be like, I don't feel like anything. I was just like, I really want to play Dragon Age right now.
There you go.
And then
That's all it needs to be, right?
I talked about the dominoes that fell over from Veil Garden all the way back to Origins. But yeah, like I started, like I did when I updated it, I added a couple of games that aren't out yet. Because I was like, I want to play these, so I'm going to put them on here now because I know they're coming out in a few weeks or whatever the case may be. But yeah, no, the system works. But I would say, like, don't keep chopping and changing the backlog. Just keep it set for until it becomes not useful anymore. And then think about updating it in one big fell swoop. Just go through and, like, just delete anything that you look at and go, no, I don't fancy that. Like, because you can always put it back later.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the thing. Like, I deleted tons of stuff where it's like, I do want to play these games eventually, but right now it's like, I'm not going to pick that game. So go. And then it was like, what am I adding? Parasite Eve 2. Yeah, makes sense. I played the first one. I added Final Fantasy 13 because it's like, I really do actually want to play that game. And then we'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah.
I look forward to playing games again now that my video is finished.
No, I feel you in that in terms of because I had quite a bit of time between the last episode of Pixel Pop Stars and this upcoming one, and with Moody going back to play the first Uncharted, I thought, you know what, let's jump back in. I've always had fun playing those games, and so I did that, and now I am kind of 20% the way through Uncharted 3 as well. So
that's awesome.
But I am making sure that we're getting all the bits and pieces done for the game show, because I know that is my main priority. But it's good just to be playing games that you're in the mood for, and that's what it always should be.
Yeah, like what? Sorry, go on, Moody.
No, go ahead.
No, it's fine.
No, I was gonna say is that what makes the Uncharted series so great is that they aren't long. They're about 12, 15 hours. You can smash through them really fast. Yeah. And it's like I think I smashed through the first one like within 6 or 8 hours, give or take.
It's not especially long game, and then somehow like managed to do the final level without dying, and then it gave me a trophy for that. I was like, I didn't know that was the thing. And that apparently it was the first time that I managed to do it, kind of thing. So it's always I happen to find the story, like Uncharted 2 is still one of my favorite games of all time, like from a story perspective, not so much the genocide that happens in that game, but at least they make a reference to how many people Drake has killed in that single day. But it's always fun to go back every now and then to play those, and then play
Narrative Dissonance, never heard of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, like again, like this whole thing was inspired by Daryl Talks Games partially, but also like I put my own spin on it, and it is that thing of like, it's for a very unique case of like, I have decision paralysis. I have 500 games on my actual backlog. Like if I sat down and thought about it, right, it's like I can never pick anything. And doing this over the course of the previous year really helped to like refine my process for being able to pick games. And I think it's working based on the fact that I've played 8 games and only failed to finish one of them. Like I'm not picking games and then being like, I'm not really feeling it. It's like the decision making process seems to be working.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's good. I'm interested to see what happens over the next few months. Like, I have to figure out what I'm doing for my next video, which might involve actually, like, well, maybe I need to play some stuff. Who knows?
Demon Souls, was it really that bad?
Dark Souls 2 is good, actually. No, like, I have like, I've got this video, this Elden Ring video coming out, and there was a bit I cut out that maybe might turn into its own like 10-minute video, 5-10-minute video. But like, if you count that one, I have another 3 video ideas like prepped and ready to be written about Souls games. But I am doing this on a new channel, and I don't want to just be the Souls person. Like I don't want to build up some subscribers who are like, oh, she makes videos about Souls games, and then when I run out of my Souls videos and start making videos about weird old games, like be like, what the fuck is this shit? So it's like I'm probably not gonna like do all of them all at once.
But of course, build the content that you want to make, and the people gravitate towards it, kind of thing.
I'm going to do better than that, Fitz. I'm not going to build content. I'm going to build videos.
There you go. Sorry, I said the C word.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I'll think of something. Right now, it's like I need to actually finish like subtitling and doing some other stuff, but it just means I can chill. If you build it,
they will come.
I'm just chill with video games right now. Don't have to think about footage and like capturing like specific things, and got to make sure I'm writing all of my thoughts down, like because like I might need them for the video. It's just like I just sit back and play a game.
Yeah, I don't know what I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do after Lost Judgment yet.
You finished it though. Are you doing Infinite Wealth again?
I've got it installed
because it seems to be the trajectory.
Yeah, but I'm kind of thinking, do I maybe go get a Yakuza game I haven't played yet? Like I'm thinking maybe Yakuza 0. I know I've got it installed on Steam, but I just don't feel like playing it on Steam. I feel like playing it on my console, like
where I've played all of the other Yakuza games.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. And as PS5 is backwards compatible with PS4 games, I'm just thinking I'm kind of tempted with that, but at the same time, we'll see how I feel. Like I still have the Uncharted collection installed. I could go with that. Go back to like the second game and whatnot, but I haven't fully decided.
Yeah, there are certain things that are popping off to me, like here on this list, more so than others. I do still need to finish the Dragon Age DLC, and like I do still feel the pull. I want to get all the way back to Veilguard, like. So maybe I will just become like Dragon Age focused for the next few months. And I always like I've said to Moody twice now. As soon as you see me boot up Mass Effect, I'm not doing that for fun. You know what I'm working on, and I've told myself, and I've told you, and I've told you. The next time I sit down to make this video, I'm gonna finish it or die trying.
Can you finish it instead of dying trying, please?
I mean, we'll see what happens.
If you don't mind. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Like, oh yeah, I've got a few games up and everything. Like, I really want to play the. I won't lie. If I could afford it, I would go out and get like a Dragon Yakuza Hawaii game, the Pirates Yakuza, because that just looks so much fun. It looks like. But I'm also like I'm interested about Avowed. I don't know why. I could get like the
Me too.
PC game.
Yeah, it's on my list. Like,
yeah,
but that's my treat for when I get my new processor. Because, I mean, if I was struggling with the 52-minute video rendering, it's not doing Avowed.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like right now, I can't do it. So I'm gonna just hold off for now and then just crack on. But actually, I've got many games that I haven't really played yet either. So.
This is why I make a list. It's like, oh yeah, that, and it's like turn around, it's like, oh yeah, those games. Like,
for me, if I make a list, I know I'm never going to touch it. That's the thing about it. If I make a list, I'm never going to touch it.
No,
I feel like I'm putting pressure on myself to actually play these games. I'm just like, I don't want to put pressure on myself to play these games. I want to gravitate to it, type of thing. You know what I mean?
Like I say, the list is just there for when I don't. Like if I sit down in front of my PlayStation or my PC and I'm scrolling and I'm not deciding anything, then that's the moment where I'll go, okay, what's on the list? And then I'll just scroll and and I'll be like,
the list that's speaking to me.
Because again, the list is the games, but also I've called it vibes because genres, like whatever, and then the average how long to beat. Time as well, so it's like there's like a bunch of information there where it's like, well, I'm not really feeling anything super long, so then I can scroll down. Like I want something that's going to keep me engaged for longer than one afternoon, so like, okay, we're looking in the middle somewhere, and then it's like, you know, it narrows it down a bunch, and then I could go, okay, like this game is 26 hours, let's go. And it's in the right genre, let's fucking go, you know what I mean? That's why I like having the information at my fingertips when I need it. Like I say, like Dragon Age Origins, just I didn't even look at this. I was just like, I want to play Dragon Age Veilguard. Well, I might as well play Inquisition. Well, I might as well play Dragon Age 2. Ah, fuck it, let's just play Origins. But yeah, it's cool. Fun stuff. I can't wait to see what happens over the next 3 months.
Hell yeah.
But let's get to the end of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I thought that for some reason I thought that was the week before. This is OpenCritic Head-To-Head. A game we play every week where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of upcoming games. If you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. No, if you manage to guess the score correctly, you get a point. If you guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Last week, I mangled that, and I don't even know how I mangled it. Look, you get points for guessing things, all right? Last week, we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of a couple of games. Cabinet has 2 reviews, so it's slowly getting there. It's slowly getting to the point where it's going to get an OpenCritic score, so fingers crossed it'll actually happen. But we also guessed the OpenCritic average of Monster Hunter Wilds. Vitz, you guessed it would get an 89. I guessed it would get a 92. Moody, you guessed it would get a 95. At the time of recording, Monster Hunter Wilds has an OpenCritic average of 89, which means Vitz gets 2 points.
Let's go. Hell yeah.
Unlike every other OpenCritic thing that's ever happened, I feel like since we started doing this game, it came out, it was 89, it hasn't moved.
Yes.
The entire time. It's been stuck on the same number. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So that puts the current scores at draws 1, Amy 2. Moody and Vitz now tied for the lead with 6 points each.
Now, Moody still won this game, so
it's about time someone fucking call up with him. It's been a year and a half. I'm gonna start.
He was gonna run away.
I'm just gonna start throwing and giving Vitz the best possible chance. Like one of us can beat him.
God, people. God.
This week we're gonna guess the OpenCritic average of 3 upcoming games. The first one is Everhood 2.
Moody, the action is on you, my friend.
Yeah, you go first.
82.
Is that what the previous one got? Yep.
I would like to go 85, please.
Bollocks.
This game has something going for it.
Has it got?
For sure.
Has it got?
The first one did as well. It got 82. It's done really well. So.
It's got the juice.
I'm not at the point where I can commit to say whether it's got the juice or not.
Okay, that's good.
It
Usually
has something going for it.
It's certainly interesting. Yeah, 82 is a good score though. I feel like we forget this sometimes. 82 is pretty high.
It sure is.
I saw on Monster Hunter Wilds review day.
But
I saw the number 89, and I was like, "Holy shit, it's a great game." And I saw someone on Bluesky being like, "Well, the reviews seem a bit mixed," and I was like,
"What do you mean?"
That good but not great was the language that they were using. And I was like, "It's an 89."
Yeah, well, what do you want?
Good
James.
but not great. What's great?
I will say,
100.
with Everhood 2, 82 is a fine score. 85 is also a fine score, but it has room to fail. You know what number never fails?
Don't bait me into taking the number that he's trying to do. He's trying to do a mind trick on me. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is in my fantasy critic team. If it gets an 88, I'm flying. I got to try and catch up with Elfie, who's having a fucking banger all of a sudden.
She's activated.
I don't know what the fuck's going on. Fuck it. Yeah, why not? Yeah.
There you go.
Next up, the Suikoden 1 and 2
Fantasy Critic, so she's doing that great.
HD remaster. What do you think, Manny?
80.
Yes, I'm in two minds about this one. What do you think, Vitz?
Everybody loves these games originally. Whether that's going to translate. Let's go 83, please.
I don't think it's about the translation. I think Suikoden 2 is the one. Like, it's considered one of the best RPGs of all time. Konami doing a remaster, though, is never usually ends well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the
forgot
sticking
this was
point is. It's like,
I forgot this was Konami.
Yeah,
Can I change my score?
does Suikoden 2's general excellence,
Will that be enough?
will that be enough to break through whatever Konami have done to make these games not work very well?
So you going to Sphere 60 or what are you going to say?
I want to believe, mostly because I've never played Suikoden 2. It costs like 200 quid to buy it for PS1 these days, and I really want this to work properly so I can finally play the damn thing. So I would say 88, but given it's a Konami remaster, we'll bring it down to 85.
Okay, right. There we go.
I think 88 is going to fail this time. And lastly, we've got Split Fiction.
Hell yeah.
Moody, what do you think for Split Fiction?
Fails it, yeah.
If I'd have done 88 all the way down, I would have been really mad right now. But I'd be like, fuck you. You piece of shit.
91, please.
Oh, okay. That makes my decision. I am going to go...
Easier.
Yeah.
70.
86.
That was spike for what they asked us to do in the last game.
86. Second, it's that... I know it's not their second game. But I'm thinking difficult second album vibes.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you top it? You know what I mean?
Can you repeat the magic of doing the traumatic thing we did to that poor girl?
It's not even the traumatic things, which I don't there was a whole host of things, but just like how much people love that game, like all the different, like it's like is it just more of the same? Like it's just we're gonna do all these new gameplay things and switch it up every half hour. It's like, what do you bring to that formula that's new? Do you bring much? Do you bring anything to the formula that's new? It's like, does it vibe the same way that it did back in 2019? Is it as big of, because I think the surprise factor like probably worked in its favor as well. Is it as big as a surprise this time? It's like, I think I'm not thinking like, oh, it's going to be terrible and it's going to get trash reviews, like, although good to great apparently. I think it's just going to be that little bit low.
Yeah, don't know if it's the bubble that we're in or anything like that, but it seems like there isn't as much hype around this one compared to was when it came to It Takes Two. But I think that might just be the bubble, as I'm not really on social media or anything like that for it. But I think this game probably does like what you said, Vitz. It has the juice, I think.
Yeah, I think titles like Monster Hunter took a lot of the oxygen out of the room and all the conversations about Monster Hunter of this week kind of thing. And I know the title itself was in the hands of reviewers and they're actively reviewing at the moment. So I'm sure next week we'll start to hear about this game. I'm not entirely sure when the embargo drops, but I'm hoping for amazing things of this game. So we will see.
Thing is, Monster Hunter has been taking the oxygen out for like a month.
Yeah, I mean,
like with its betas and everything like that. So it's
it's a tentpole release. It's a grand marquee title. So yeah. Oh yeah.
Except Elden Ring week.
Yes.
I just want to say, I don't want to sound like I'm dissing on the game. I'm not. I hope it is a success and everything. Because
all of these games are success.
Yeah. So
we hope every game is a success.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But no, yeah. Amy, what are you thinking? You may play
I said no, I'm alright, thank you.
You know what? You don't want to go back just in case there's another traumatizing thing.
We'll talk. There was a thing that we'll talk. But yeah, no. No, I'm good, thank you. Plus, if Suikoden 2 works, I'm gonna be playing that, I guess.
I'm not saying like straight away or anything like that. Like I've stated already, I can't do it right now or anything like that. But like, I would love to give it a try. And I know Vitz will be playing it with a partner, I guess. So like,
yeah,
I need to.
We only have to buy this
You've
game
got a
once,
partner.
Thanks to the EA.
Just play with the games, Lego games.
Just tell
Maybe this can be the gateway.
Turn your contrast, right? Just change your color settings on your TV so everything looks yellow and tell her it's a Lego game. Problem solved. I'm a genius.
I know they don't look that as blocky as they did last time, but they are.
Turn the resolution down so everything looks pixely.
So you don't need to worry about it. Yeah.
Oh god.
Problem solved.
Problem solved all along.
Yeah, I look forward to finding out how these games do, and we'll be back next week with a podcast. I guess it's time for Moody's time to shine. My brain's in meltdown. I need to.
It really is.
To go.
Hello, everybody. Today, be proud you made it. It's a Pokemon day. Another day is behind you. Another week has passed. So go out, stand up high, throw that Pokeball, catch that Bulbasaur because it's the best fucking starter, and it's a 0 out of 10 if you don't fucking support Bulbasaur. Live long and prosper. I don't know where I was going with that.
Neither do I. I hope people haven't thrown their shit at like their laptops or devices. Like, oh shit!
Yes.
Just someone's watching this on their phone. Throw the thing. No!
If you see a Bulbasaur, dear listener, consult your local physician.
I can see like 10 right now. Like,
Like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Do I need to consult a physician?
There's one in front of me. There's an Ivysaur. Oh shit! There's one there. There's some over there. Oh,
anyway,
I'm going crazy.
bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye everybody.